Okay, so we're pretty much done with our robot now, so all we have to really do is just finish off our sort of eye controls. So we might not even use them, but it's just so you can have a little play around as well. So we've got our eye control sort of set up here, but at the moment all we have is this shape. And if I just go to my right eye and my left eye, control 1. So we can isolate. We kind of want to add some extra. We want to make it look a little bit nicer. So let's leave it at that subdivision. I think this should be a fun because these are going to be lights at the end of the day, or we could probably add an emissive shader onto it. But let's try it with lights, just so you can see how they'd react. So we need to make some sort of expression of eyes because they're just open at the moment. So what you want to do, you want to create some sort of blend shapes. So if I go to Windows, Animation Editors, and Shape Editor, it should open up this window. And this will allow us to do blend shapes after we've rigged. They're really useful to like fixing stuff as well. Cool, so I'm just going to select my right eye, create blend shape. I'm going to call this, we'll call this right eye. And then we need to add a target. So we can rename this to happy. I think there's the expression, right eye happy. And we'll do a very basic. So all I'm going to do is, so now if we edit this, so I'm just going to, and you can do this anyway. Probably you can do this with curves, but because I've already made it a thing, geo, I'm just going to go with what I've got. And if you press B, and you can choose your soft selection, and you can change the amount of soft selection if you double click on your transforms and open up here, and you can change the amount of soft select. So I just want it sort of like about there. Then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this up, so I sort of get this shape. And I know it's kind of deforming it, but I'm not too fussed if it's doing that. And I'm just going to bring this down until I sort of curve this off. Cool. So we've got that shape, and that's kind of like the happy. And we could use reference, so you can go online and find certain eye shapes. I'm just going to keep these very basic, but you'll be able to find loads of reference online. So if I now turn off my edit, you want to make sure after you've done an edit, you need to make sure you turn this on, because this will always stay on and it can crash if you leave it on. So now if I select this slider, I now have control of how much I want that to go in. Cool, so yeah, and it's as simple as that. And so we will put that back to 0. Going to select my blend shape and add target again. And I don't know, have a play. The reason why I'm doing it this way, because you want to kind of do this at the origin, if you can, because I'm now in this world space. It makes it a little bit awkward, but it's not so bad. So I'm just going to pull these in. I think my soft selection is a bit too much. Not sure what expression this is, but I'm sure we'll find out. I don't know. Have a play of it. This is kind of almost like a goat eyes now. So we've made a horrible eye shape. And you can sort of blend these as well as they go. So you can see how we've got that shape now. And you can add that. Bit more sort of happy glee. Some sort of weird shapes. So I'm not sure. I'm just going to call this right eye. What do you call that? I'm just going to call this right eye goat. Because I think that's more like a goat eye. And let's bring that back. Oh, that's probably not the best explanation. Probably should have brought up a reference so we can have a look, but I'm just going to wing it. Don't want this to be too long. And you can bring up reference and match it. So I'm going to select this and add target, and let's make an, I guess we can make an angry one. I'm just doing very basic selection because it's kind of deforming a bit. And I guess this is more, this probably looks a bit more evil, I guess. But don't forget you can blend them, make disgusting shapes. So we've got evil. And like you get, this is going to be a pretty quick tutorial, but you get the idea. Like you can make these, and we're only doing it off one eye, so you can go angry, goat, happy. Probably not the best explanations, but should make one more. And I guess this is probably, that way around is probably like, not, I don't know the word for it, not impressed. Because it looks like kind of not impressed. And don't forget you can mix these, you don't have to do them all at the same time, so you've got that, that's kind of like, eh. Then you can sort of mix them all together. You can have this set up to a certain way if you want and have them turn them all off together. But let's turn them all off. And let's just do the same for the right eye. Left eye, sorry. So select the left eye. Call this left eye. Then add target. I'm just going to copy this. Probably didn't need to do that. So we've got a right eye. Oh, let's turn that back on. We've got our right eye sort of happy, so we may as well match that. Let's turn edit off on that because we don't want to edit that anymore. I think this is probably more glee, I guess. We can look up a sort of reference for it. I'm just going to change this to world. Bring that up. I think our soft, you probably want to do these at the same time, to be honest. So you get a very similar fall off. I think that's like 3.2. They don't have to be exactly symmetrical. It's nice to have a bit of asymmetry. Cool. And we have that. They're not exact duplicates, but you can spend more time on it. And now we have that one. And you could set up custom controllers to control all these, but I'm not going to do that. We just want to keep it very simple. So I'm just going to go with the goat now. Left eye. I'm pretty sure that's probably called something more than just goat. To me, that just looks like a goat eye. So component. So I'm selecting component so it goes in the axis with the eye, so it keeps it on the plate. I think it's a bit more on that. Cool, so now we have our sort of horrible goat eyes. But you can blend these together to get what you want. Turn off edit, back, and then I'm going to go to evil. This is a fairly simple one. Oh, we need to make sure that you add your target and call it that. It's evil. Vertex. Select the vertex, select anything you want. It's just easier to grab them and pull them down like that. Cool, turn that off. Yeah, right eye, not impressed. Let's change that back to world. So we've got some pretty basic blend shapes here. So now if we pull this out and we can blend these together. And you would key these in the exact same way, so you would just select key. And when you select this, it still moves around and keeps the same. Do you need to add an orientate that to that? So we're pretty much done with this. Let's see if we can get a bit more control over these eyes. So I'm going to close that. Make sure you've got all your edits turned off. Just going to select this and I want that, then that, because I want that to really control the orientation. And let's try that. I can't guarantee that this is going to work, but no. I think that'll be right. We don't need to do anything too complicated. We can just go on aim. Cool. And I think that'll be fine. Let's just undo that, get rid of that constraint that we don't need to use. Cool, and we're pretty much done. So you can play around with this, make sort of all. It's probably best to go online and get some sort of reference and give that a go and sort of match. But that was just in the shape editor. You can sort of mix and match them as well. So if we've got a goat, kind of looks a bit funky, and you can do the same for the other things. So if you're not impressed on them, and you get like weird shapes. Cool, and the good thing about this is if we just put this all back to 0, so we're on our normal stuff. Close that down. So effectively, these are actually. So I'm just going to save this. .86, getting close to 100. Actually, what I've been using at the moment, I've been actually using these as lights. We could probably just use it as an emissive texture. We'll compare the two actually, because obviously a light's going to light it up quite nicely. and we can get that sort of look. So if we go Arnold lights, mesh light, see how that's now replaced it with a mesh light, and we can do the same Arnold lights, mesh light. Basically what that's going to do, that's going to hide the geometry, so that's only a light now. So I'm just going to go to my attribute editor, change my exposure to like 5 on each of them, and I'm just going to roughly get the color that I want. It's not at all. I don't know, something like that. And on that we can just pick it from our most recent. So you can go shaded hardware texturing, and that should show your textures. If your textures aren't showing, you might have to go to your AI metal, go to your color tab, and generate preview, and that will generate, well, I guess that'll regenerate the preview. It'll probably take a bit of time to show up now, but I'm just going to go to my, there we go, Arnold render view, and just click render. And you can see the lights are working in there, but we need to actually turn our sky dome on. And we're not actually seeing our lights because we also need to light visible. Like I said, we could do this in a, see how now the lights are turning up. So we actually need to render update full scene. There we go. So now we've got our lights in there. So the good thing about this is now, if we go to our shape editor, we can see it's updating in the light as well, which is kind of nice. And you can mix and match sort of shapes, although you might not want to, but well, it's not quite updating. There we go. So you can do lots of different things, and I don't want this to be on a long tutorial. But yeah, and that's how you kind of make the different shapes in your eyes. So hopefully you've enjoyed this tutorial. We could do this as a emissive texture as well and just mask it off in a nuke. But for now, we're pretty much done with the model. So hopefully you've enjoyed this so far, this series, just to get your asset done. Now we're completely done. Our next stage is to actually start going to some shot work and doing that sort of prep stuff. So yeah, I guess the next thing that we actually need to do is bring in our shots and create an edit. So that's what we'll do next, once I've filmed it, which should be next. Alright, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help, and leave your comments below. Thanks for watching.